Hi folks, we are back with 8 Regents and we're going to be recording a game that was requested between Richard Walker and Tamás Milla. So this is Baratheon against Stark. Currently it says here 1-1 according to this, but one of the results has not been updated. Actually Baratheon leads 2-1, but they had some pretty decent matchups go their way, and the rest I think are in Stark's favor. But we'll see how it plays out. The game has started a minute ago, so let's see how it's going. Baratheon starting with Melisandre and a couple of chods, that's never bad, but Stark playing Winter here with Rickard Karstark, that's going to be super annoying. And no attachments for the Qohor. So this looks like one of my decks. Just a Neil setup, but yeah, playing Qohor, which will require something else. And I think Richard should go first here to marshal an attachment right before Tamás collects gold. Yeah, at the same time as this one, there is another game being played from this pairing between Schweig and Joe Zimmer, I think. So two extremely important games. If Stark wins them both, then I think Stark is winning this matchup. But if Baratheon takes one or even two, then it's going to be extremely interesting. Winter chokes a bit of the gold away. And sweet sleep on him, so yeah, it's going to be impossible to stop him, so I guess first of all he's taking the chud, the reducer. Now Bran is in play. I wonder if Recon also will be played at some point. He stops Qohor completely with his ability. Can sacrifice an attachment, but then he cancels the search. That would suck. Yeah, Richard has problems. There's no renown big guy here, and he doesn't have the gold. He has 7 if he uses the two reducer abilities here. So he can play Robert, but it's not coming with Lightbringer or anything like that. Oh, maybe now. That's handy. Stannis. And Rickard gets snared, of course, that's very nice. And what he needs is Lightbringer. Or he could take a bodyguard and a Warhammer, also nice. But, oh, okay, he does have a Lightbringer. Problem is that it's one attachment that you would want to keep on Stannis, so it's not very tradable. Allow him to do military stand and do power if he likes, although first round not great for power. So I guess maybe he defends as well, but let's see if stealth comes in. Or stand or anything like that for Stark, which I'm sure is a possibility. Kings of Winter. So we're going to see winter plots all the way through. There's the stand. There could be... Well, actually, so let's check now what Rickard does. So every plot phase he will grab a north location back, so you can sacrifice the armory after you've used it for his ability, and then he will take it back. Kneel the north location, okay. Don't want to kneel it. So I have to kneel a location to sacrifice something. Yeah, he's missing some cards for the loop to start, really. Did get the military icon with stealth though. And dicey as well. They do get on my nerves, these Stark decks. So I was going to say, this could be, of course, playing the Stranger, could be playing First Snow because of the Winter trait, could be playing Rationing to stop some stuff, not all of it, in Qohor. Or not even most of them, actually, timing-wise. Could be playing Withering Cold. There is the Stark location that stands when stuff comes out of shadows. I think that's not going to be in the deck now that we've seen all of these cards. There's no shadows anywhere. And of course Milla going into shadows to blank something every round. He's opening with military. It's the one that hurts. Too bad he can't assault the armory, that would be nice. And decisions to be made, of course, whether you oppose it or not. Depending also on what is going to be taken for claim. Don't particularly want to let Baratheon go super fast, right? Because this deck is can close quickly. And two people are saying on Discord that the games are not going well tonight. Okay, so I guess the other game started pretty badly for Stark. See if that is available to watch anywhere. Yeah, Baratheon had a very bad first round. Kept losing game after game. And Stark, I think pretty much everyone agrees, has the strongest team here. Maybe you could argue that Targaryen and Tyrell, just looking at the names, are up there, but I think Stark is slightly stronger than the others and very convincing in the first round, and in my opinion has a great matchup against Baratheon, so we were expecting it to go well, and it still could. As I said, these are the key matchups that Baratheon desperately needs to win, and some of the others are in Stark's favor for sure. Richard has done what he could. He can defend the one challenge that doesn't involve Arya with Stannis, depending also, of course, on what happens with the armory. Then possibly, considering that Rickard's ability is a thing as well, you might want to take Melisandre's dupe. Can't imagine her being killed so many times that it would matter. She's double duped. Yeah, that's what happens now. You could stand Arya to beat Stannis in the power challenge. Bit early perhaps for that, and maybe keeping 0 power on your faction card, not that bad an idea. Yeah, first game in this matchup between who did Martozar lose to? I can't remember. Gabriel, right? Yeah. First game was 15-14. Could have gone Baratheon's way as well. But this one, of course, is started about as we expected, considering the agenda, so could still go either way. Now Rickard has nothing to do in the plot phase, couldn't really trigger him. And are these the north? They are not, so yeah, he's missing a card really for his thing to start. Another reserve into the smith. Okay. Richard's going first here. He's going to kneel Lightbringer to kneel the armory. Or maybe one of the others if he plans to marshal further attachments here, then of course you can leave the armory for last. Then it gets sacked for Rickard if there is another the north location to kneel, but then maybe the smith will will get them this round, we'll see. Yeah, trying to use the smith. He succeeds. Well done, Richard. And that's probably going to be the other hard trigger now used, right? Doesn't matter because there's no more attachment, so it can be used if an attachment comes in. Well, what to do? The ideal thing would be get a Chad or this for the Melisandre trigger. Now another lore card perhaps to have Stannis participate in additional challenges. So I think giving Tamás the chance to kneel hard trigger. Or maybe he's going to, if that's the only attachment, maybe he even keeps it. Because if another armor is marshaled, you might want to get that instead of the hard trigger. He needs a Warhammer, you can search for it, but don't want to lose the Lightbringer. Then I wonder if Stark could ever play something like Marriage Pact in this deck. Imagine that on Stannis. Okay, attachment still standing, and we have Alistair. That means next round possibly we see Air to trade him away. Could also see Mad King's Command. Then when he leaves play it's 3 on 3, but really it's 3 on 2 because he nails one. Not going super fast though because no power to steal, and we'll see now. Could get Stannis in all 3 challenges and keep him standing as well. Difficult to overcome his 7 strength really. Stark Winter. Well, there's Bran, there's Winter with Stewart, so probably not going to be playing Bolton Flares or anything like that. What is the restricted card here? I wonder, is it just a RoW deck? Sorry about that, just a second. there we are. It is a RoW deck and comes with a save. And now I'm guessing one of the attachments, so Lightbringer presumably is going to have to go to milk Rob, because if they just stand, and they can on demand because of Ricard now, still no location. That's really bad. Maybe there is a way, I don't know. But if they stand and do challenges back, we know how Stark is. Now at the moment, he is alone in having renown. There is no intrigue icon and no fast steady. Problem is that one of the challenges where Stannis would like to grab his power for renown, of course, is military, and that triggers Rob. And if you do it, you undo what Melisandre did to Ricard earlier. So, do you settle for power and intrigue instead? Then Arya can stealth him still, can defend. Or do you do power and then milk him, trade Lightbringer away? You just do the challenges with Azor Ahai Reborn, but Stannis doesn't have renown. Let's see. Yeah. That makes some kind of sense. Now, what about this? Do you attack with him and trade it for Lightbringer? Is there another Lightbringer? There should be disputed claim at least, but that's not going to stand him. So I played some Bara Qohor recently in the Hands Tourney, the French online event. Made the cut there, I think top 8 I lost. And so far I'm pretty much seeing the same cards that I played. It's not published, so I guess independently came to pretty much the same deck, which is understandable. And I played King in the North in that, which gets rid of some of the annoying Stark stuff. Gets rid of some Bara stuff as well, but you can do something without triggers as well. You can have Warhammers for Intimidate. Robert is a king, Stannis is a king. Okay, his ability is just to draw, but still. And Mad King's Command definitely was there. Now if you have 3 great bodies, Stannis, Melisandre, and let's say Robert, and then he goes away, that's okay. If you keep Stannis, Melisandre, and Vanguard Lancer, that's not such a good deal for you. So maybe we see that at some point. Yeah, not a lot of damage done now without his renown. Of course, also he's unprotected. Needs a bodyguard really. If he is to grab any huge power on him. Now what's the situation with Jory? Yeah, so he stays alive and he saves something. So if Morgullis is played, that works, right? That's a save. It's Arya and let's say Ricard against Melisandre. Unless you play king in the north that round. Yeah, all of that good start from Richard really has not amounted to much. He has a very small power advantage here. He's going to lose the military challenge as well if it's attacked by both players here. He does have the hand advantage, and if there is no reset, I guess you could argue that he has the better board. He's going to grab power for dominance instead of opposing this, which makes sense. And Vanguard Lancer goes, I think, in expectation of playing possibly Mad King's Command at some point. So winter reserves are done. Now you need the plots to do damage. First Snow's not doing damage, unfortunately, for Tamás here. Interesting card to lose. Probably a good sign, because that's one that I quite like. Now the stranger can choose 7, but oof, look at the spread here. There's no. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The stranger actually is pretty amazing here. But he plays time for wolves to fetch either Summer or Grey Wind, and against King in the North, so Summer is not going to grab Bear Island Scout back. Grey Wind's not cancelling anything. And Richard goes first. No economy. Nothing will work, so all he can do really is play another Chud and maybe a Warhammer. That would be a pretty dream scenario. It's not King in the North. It's the Mad King's Command. What am I talking about? Okay, so this will work. Yeah, completely misread that. Okay, so he cancels character abilities, which means Melisandre's nil is the 1 and Alistair's nil. But of course, Mad King's Command means that this economy does work. Okay, so Richard can marshal more stuff. Now what's with the 2 gold? Did he play? Oh, it's the winter choke. Yeah. Other game looks like it's about to be decided. Big boards and lots of power on both sides. Well, if you trigger Melisandre on a character that is definitely staying, that gets rid of Grey Wind, and unless you remarshal him, then he's one of the cards that has to be kept in hand. But okay, 5 cards in hand right now, so it's not like Tamás is losing anything huge. Yeah, useful. She's going to try to nail something, and now let's see. Do you save Grey Wind for the Alistair trigger? If you cancel this, you can remarshal, and he cancels Alistair as well. Takes a big chunk of your gold to do that though. And this is exactly what Richard needed. Warhammer here, so now I think Sweet Sleep would be nice. Or Ricard trigger. But yeah, could get rid of a location, doesn't need to be a character. Is there something big that can stand up to Stannis? Or is it going to be Greywind? He can be moved around a little bit as well, but then Stannis with Azor High Reborn is just going to do 2 challenges with Intimidate, right? So better find some stand, I think. It's the North card. So, what's it going to be? A character or Greywind back? You could keep Ricard, Rob and Jory or Arya, which is decent, but it's going to be a bad round. Simply because Baratheon is going first with Intimidate, so... And yeah, it's the one round that Richard can probably do damage even without the Melisandre and Alistair Neil. And card in Shadows should be Mira, and now that's pretty decent. Okay, she actually cannot really stop the Warhammer, but it's another character at least. And then if she comes back and does military with her stat, and there's a dupe here that can be claimed, but that invites Morghulis. There is a Chad that will be there. I say Morghulis, but Winter, Kings of Winter could be the stranger. You could also just trade that Warhammer now for a bodyguard. Depends. If he wants to play King in the North at some point, you definitely don't want to run into Morghulis or the stranger with King in the North and relying on bodyguards that then cannot be triggered. And Greywind, let's see the timing. So Mad King's command, forced reaction after the challenges phase begins. He triggers when he leaves play. And this is an interrupt. Okay, so no worries, you can select Greywind, cancel Alistair, and then Greywind goes back to hand, even if that puts you on 4 cards, or 3 in this case, since I'm assuming he's keeping that Mira in Shadows. Might have been an idea to keep Alistair even, since he's not triggering through Greywind. He's slightly bigger, but then he's never triggering, right? So you could play Air, I guess, to trade him next round. A lot of time already spent, 30 minutes, even though it's round 3. And power gain pretty slow. Remember, Stannis doesn't have renown. Yeah, it's costly to milk Rob. Could have been up to 8 power by now, threatening to win the game here. And what happened there with Grey Wind? He wants it in play. It's the only card, the only direwolf card that could have been returned. And looks like he wants it in play. Has stealth, but surely the characters are now getting intimidated, right? And what do you cancel? Do you want to cancel Stannis' draw? 3 reserve. Richard has 2 gold as well, but Qohor is not going to be playing events. Maybe Florian and Jonquil could be theoretically, but no, not in Baratheon because the unique low costers don't really exist. Could play Water Dancer Sword, I wouldn't personally. Stopping the win by 5. Could he have now Milla with Winter is Coming, try to do big damage? Since everything is intimidated, if I were Richard, then I would just get a bodyguard here. Two cards in hand, maybe that's why I also didn't want Grey Wind in hand. Thought the Alistair Neal wouldn't make that much difference this round. Didn't want to expose him to intrigue claim, but still would have been 3 cards and not that much chance to lose him. Carhold, at the moment he doesn't have renown, but that would have been useful. There is gold left. Decided to keep it for shadows instead. We'll see if it proves smart. And is it time for the Qohor trigger or has that window closed? Let's see. Ah, he's doing power. He can trade even the Azor Ahai Reborn now in theory. Maybe not that smart. I trade Warhammer for the bodyguard. Then he could have traded Azor Ahai Reborn for Lightbringer if he has another one as well. Just have Stannis attack. Well, I can't believe he didn't use Qohor. Okay, this is potentially good next round, but what if she now... Oh, she costs 2, so she's not going to do it with Winter is Coming. Well, do you then claim Melisandre? Yeah. Happy to play the after reset top deck game, starting with a 3-1 advantage, 3-1, 4-1 actually at this moment, and the worst card going to reserve here. But Ricard can now grab Northern Armory back, remember, and Jory has a save. So seems like Stark can get out of this potential the Stranger play pretty well, and Imri, okay, can understand that because he couldn't get enough locations in play for Imri to win him the game. No renown on the Stark side though, so As long as Baratheon maintains some kind of board presence to do challenges and to post stuff, there's a bit of a deficit to overcome at 8-2 on the faction card. 2 Claimer against King in the North, and again Richard able to go first. Now Milla can go back to Shadows, but she won't be blanking anything. Lightbringer doesn't work, but like I said, probably doesn't have it at this point, otherwise might have been in play. Yeah, it makes sense to have one copy. Unfortunately, it's not Targaryen where you can just put it back into the deck for the loop. So, more attachments to trade and maybe another Chad if the military stuff comes in now with 2 claim. At least 2 claim. But then he can intimidate, right? Can intimidate some military icons here. And now to claim military. To claim power seems the big one now. Arya has stealth, so if Stannis is the one left standing, she can get him if he prefers to kneel the military icons, but he might not, right? Because if he stays standing against the non-stealth, he could defend. There is another one in Shadows. And let's see what still comes into play. Baratheon has taken a 3-1 lead, by the way, in this match. Now if Richard wins, that's 4-1. That means Stark needs to win the remaining games to get a win from this match, and I can tell you it's not beyond them, because they're favorites in most of the individual games that are still to be played. Yeah, Tamás is stuck. He can't not oppose. And now what? Yeah, there was another one. It's not going to stand him, but it gives him renown. That was the 2-cost one he could trade. Can't trade Azor Ahai Reborn unless he's already properly declared for the challenge, because it takes him out before keywords if you do that. Now he's attacking with Renown and Intimidate. Milla doesn't have the icon. Can't come out and claims the power back, but she can do military. One card left. Could it be? Winter is coming. And he hasn't done power yet, right? So unopposed power with Renown puts him on 13. Most of that on the faction card. Everything gets killed potentially. But Richard's still so far ahead that in 15 minutes might not turn around if Tamás has a dream scenario here now. Do you trade that Warhammer now for a bodyguard? I think you need to, because you could go into the Stranger and take the power of Stannis next round. Yeah, Star guys are pretty supportive of their team, but a few more Baratheons here than they were for the earlier game as well. Okay, he's grabbed Disputed Claim. It's not enough though. I wouldn't have done that because he still needs another round. Or does he? Milla comes in, kills everything, Stannis wins dominance. If there is a winner is coming though, that one power from Melisandre also goes. She will do what she can. Winter is coming would be the last card. Kills 3 characters, then you the stranger Stannis. No. It's just to claim. Yeah. That's a good call here for Baratheon playing this Qohor deck. It's tough against Stark to rely on any kind of control. There is Delena, but look, you run into this and then there's Mira, blanks Delena, and they stand with Rob, right? And yeah, you've done nothing. It's tough. But trying to outrush them. It could have worked for Tamás, maybe, if he had some more luck, let's say sweet sleep on Rob or something like that, or just at the north location so the Trickard could get going. I don't know, but not on this occasion. So apparently Baratheon won the one that was played at the same time as this game, which means they now have wins from Ivan, from Schweig, from Raius, and from Richard. But you know, those are the big guys, the big guns for Baratheon, and they'll need to win some of the other games as well. And look at who's still playing for Stark. They have Sophia, they have Sarah, they have Todd Jansson, they have Calvin, Argento. Yeah, but they do need to win them all to win the match. But they, maybe not all, but they certainly could win all except one. That would tie it. But yeah, this one surprisingly going the way of Baratheon so far. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time.